Good evening. There's nothing quite like the Easter holiday in the Football League. With 2 games in a matter of days, it's that time of year that could make or break a season. And tonight we've got all the goals from the Easter period so far. The first of 2 shows for you over the extended weekend. And you can tell it's the business end of the season because we've got both Steve and Leroy with us tonight. Yep, no expense spared for you. And if you want to get in touch with us with your emails and texts, then get them through to Ore.
Thank you very much, Manish. Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, before the end of the season proper, and still everything to play for. At this stage of the season, every single point counts. So if your team is on the cusp of promotion, playoffs, or plummeting into the league below, we want to know how you're coping if your team has its fate in its own hands, or if you're waiting for the teams around you to slip up. Get in touch. 81111 is the text number, and footballleague@bbc.co.uk is the email.
Yes, well, as always, there's plenty to get through from the NPAL Football League. Cardiff QPR is a good fixture at the best of times, but when the championship title is on the line too, it's got the makings of an Easter treat. It's turning into quite a battle behind QPR. We'll bring you the very best from those teams who've got either automatic promotion or the playoffs on their mind. It's just as tight down at the bottom of the championship. We'll find out whose nerve is holding and whose isn't down in the basement.
And in League Two, we'll get some reaction from Chesterfield, promoted on Good Friday, as they sat at home with their feet up.
Well, there's only one place to start tonight, and that's in South Wales for the lunchtime game that took place between Cardiff and QPR. The maths was quite simple for Rangers. A win, and they'd be back in the Premier League for the first time in 15 years. Standing in their way, though, a Cardiff side intent on securing that second automatic promotion spot. Mark Bright and Steve Wilson were at the Cardiff City Stadium for what was a crucial game.
There's the feeling of a playoff final about this game. The Cardiff City Stadium is absolutely jumping. The atmosphere is really special. Well, Cardiff City are unchanged. So it's Bellamy and Bothroyd up front, but they are boosted by the return to the bench of Michael Chopra, who'd missed the last 5 with a hamstring injury. Could be needed to because Bothroyd is playing with a slight groin problem. Well, Queen's Park Rangers are also unchanged from the side that drew with Derby on Monday. Keeper Paddy Kenny hurt his ankle in training yesterday. He was a doubt last night, but the swelling has gone down. He plays just as he has in every Rangers game this season. Cardiff have it again with that man Bellamy. Whittingham well found. Chance here. Good save by Kenny. Really good chance for Whittingham.
Well, their leading goal scorer last year at 22. It's bouncing nice for him. I thought he should just lift that ball there over Kenny. Really poor.
Kanan forward for Cardiff. Here's Burt. Bellamy, well played, Bothroyd. Burke in the middle, Bellamy too, and Whittingham. Olafinjana arriving. Jay Bothroyd went for goal and brilliantly finds it! Fabulous goal by Jay Bothroyd! What a goal and what a start!
What do you do here? Show him inside, show him inside. He gets shown inside, you can just see Smith doesn't really help Clint Hill. Tommy Smith drops off. There's still a lot to do, there's no question about that, but, you know, you can do this in training. And everybody says, yeah, try it on a Saturday. He has, and he's pulled it off. What a goal.
Routledge. Tommy Smith in a good position. It's a corner.
Yes.
Well, Paul Quinn protests, but I'm absolutely certain that that did go behind off Quinn. Good play by Rangers.
Yeah, pushing back. Dave Jones obviously delighted with a positive start. All the talk in the change room beforehand sometimes can be that just talk, but you go out, a real positive start, take some shooting opportunities, 1 up. What they have to do is make sure they don't concede.
Tarab with the corner. Well defended twice by Kanan. Back to Adel Tarab. Rangers with plenty of green and white shirts in there. Goes for goal! Oh my goodness, he scored! Less than 10 minutes played and another top draw goal from Adel Tarabt. It's 1 each.
This here, he isn't closed down quick enough. You can see people pointing. I think it's Paul Quinn, 14, should get out there, sprint as quick as you can. Get out there as close as you can. Do not allow him to pull that trigger.
Routledge brought that down beautifully. Here's Bothroyd, first time, Bellamy. Bellamy's in behind. Has he got the pace? You bet he has. It's Bellamy. Good save by Paddy Kenny.
Another good combination from the strikers. This time it's Jay Bothroyd feeding Bellamy in. What he doesn't do here, he doesn't narrow the angle, he doesn't go in towards the goal, he runs in a straight line. So by the time he gets, 10 yards off the byline, his angle is narrow to shoot at there. And he's going for the near post, it looks like he was hitting the side netting.
Whittingham. Comfortably wide off the head of Kanan.
I can't stress how hot it is here today, Stephen. According to the news this morning, it's going to be the hottest day of the year, 26 degrees, and the early kickoff hasn't done the players any favours as well.
Kanan got a head on it. Here's Routledge, bouncing, awkward, helped on, Tommy Smith. And Bywater.
Paul Quinn, the right back, he did ever so well there, you know. Watch number 14, bottom of the screen. He backs in here, backs in, and just doesn't allow Tommy Smith to guide it where he wants.
Bothroyd, good persistence. Bellamy's arriving in the middle. Burke 2. Bothroyd waits. Oh, Bellamy, 2-1. Only needs one chance. Bellamy took it. Cardiff 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Poor defending, really, really poor. Go and close the ball down, narrow the angle. It's twice they've allowed that. Been punished on both occasions.
Matthew Connolly, the man who let it get away from him. Craig Bellamy, the man who lashed it into the roof of the net.
It's living up to its billing.
Here's Bellamy. Next goal in this game could be so important now. Olafinjana in the middle, he's got there. Couldn't turn it goalward. Sean Derry back helping out. Cardiff on top now, they've got a corner.
Well, just Gorks there, just getting caught in possession. Didn't see Jay Bothroyd coming back from the halfway line. Caused a problem, and Bellamy sprinted off.
Burke with the corner. Olafinjana with a header. He might have done better.
Yes, he knows. Ray get a free header from a corner. Olafinjana getting a really good head on it. Should be heading that down.
Sean Derry, shooting chance, took it, deflection, Tarabt! Tarabt again! Oh, nearly.
Well, Sean Derry's shot looked like it was going way off target. It takes 2 deflections, doesn't it? And then a little hand. I think that was going in, you know. Great save.
Here's Routledge. Snuffed out. Whittingham giving Bellamy some space to run into. Only Bothroyd in the middle, that might be enough. It's Bellamy, it's deflected, it's awkward. It's a corner.
In the centre of the pitch there, Jay Bothroyd looked like he was obstructed. Craig Bellamy makes a run down the near side. As Jay Bothroyd comes in the middle of the screen, as he tripped.
Clint Hill it was.
Hill.
Whittingham's corner. Olafinjana not quite with the clear header. Here's Quinn, he's won it well. Helgeson right on his shoulder. He's turned well too, Quinn. Olafinjana's volley, well hit, unlucky. Great technique by Olafinjana.
Well, I just don't believe what Harry Helgeson did there. Trying to pinch the ball, he went the wrong side, just allowed a cross. I mean, good strike from Olafinjana, lovely as you say. Looks like it was going straight to Paddy Kenny.
Here's Routledge, on loan from Newcastle. Used to be on loan here at Cardiff, that's why he's getting the stick. Looking for Tarabt. Tarabt with a chance here, and he takes it. It's 2-2, and it's Tarabt again. Out of nothing, Adel Tarabt scores, and Queen's Park Rangers are level, and are maybe 1 goal away from promotion.
18th goal of the season. As you said, he's been quiet in the second half, but he just produces that bit of magic. No one's trying to win the ball. Look at that, there's hardly anything in it, and he just really does ever so well. Nice and composed, out of his feet. Doesn't even look up. Equaliser from nothing.
It was a beautiful finish, and it's 2 each. Bellamy's in again, is he? Oh, brilliant save by Kenny. Outstanding save by Paddy Kenny. Bellamy looked favourite.
Paddy Kenny has pulled off 3 one-on-ones. Just see here, stands up. Bellamy just collide with him at the last minute. He just gets a poke in. Great save. I think he just hurt his ankle.
Yeah. Routledge now. 90 seconds away from a result which decides nothing. But he's onside here, Tarabt. And there's a chance this could be side netting. Helgeson had the Premier League and promotion on a plate in front of him, and he missed the target.
It fell lovely for Helgeson, and oh dear, dear, dear.
Neil Warnock was off out of the traps and down the touchline.
The promised land.
Took him to the cleaners for the majority of the game, and with a bit more luck, might have scored more goals, but that's why they are where they are, because they're resilient and they stick at it. But we had our chances, and as I said, the second half, certainly the last 15, it's very hot out there as well, so a lot of players starting to feel the heat. You know, Berkey's got sunstroke out on that side. So basically, it's a good performance, and we're still in the mix, and that's where we want to be.
It was a good advertisement for football, Cardiff and ourselves today, and neither, all right, they might have gone a little bit more home disappointed than us, because it's a great point for us. But over the season, two very good sides, and the both clubs have had, you know, they've had a great appetite for the game this year, and you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the running now.
So QPR celebrations on hold for the time being. Top quality entertainment has to be said in Cardiff, where all the big name players came out and played their part. You were there, Leroy. It was terrific, wasn't it?
Oh, fantastic. It was a fantastic game. Really enjoyed it. But as you said, the big name players played their part. You know, Bellamy and Bothroyd for Cardiff and Tarak. But I just thought Cardiff, against any other side today, I think they might have been out of sight. But QPR dug in, and, you know, and that man Tarak kept them in the game. Whereas, you know, Cardiff really played some fantastic football, but they couldn't quite just wrestle control away. And in the end, QPR wrestled control in the second half and went on towards the end of the second half and could have won the game quite easily.
We have to look at those two special goals. They were two world-class strikes, weren't they?
They were. I mean, they were different in a way, because the first one, where Bothroyd picks the ball up, and he's very, very strong. He was strong all afternoon. It's almost a clip. It's not a fully fledged strike through the ball. His foot stops as he hits the ball, but if you can imagine, that ball was stopped, and it's a free kick almost, where he's whipped it over the wall and into the far corner. And a marvellous, marvellous strike. And you can see right from the very start what he's trying to do. And Tarab seems to have an amazing ability, yet again, no follow-through, of being able to get amazing purchase on the ball from very little backlift. And as you see there, I mean, there aren't too many people who can get that sort of distance, that sort of trajectory, with very little effort. So, two good goals.
Yeah, a lot of Cardiff fans will ask me, did he mean that? I said, yeah, he did mean
it.
Because he's done it many, many times this season.
Now, look, I've got to bring up the issue of the points deduction. I know QPR fans will say, look, it's our moment in the sun. We're a point away or maybe a win away from clinching the title and promotion. But it's hanging over them. So what do both of your gut instincts say is going to happen? I think it's on May the 3rd.
Fine. Big fine. There's a precedent we said before with West Ham. The league cannot leave it, OK? And if say QPR win it by 7 points and deduct them 6, then it matters not. They can't take points away that will make them lose the title or lose promotion, because they haven't given any chance of recourse for Queen's Park Rangers with regard to games left. So they've backed themselves into the corner. I can't see anything other than a big fine.
No, I totally agree there. They've backed themselves in the corner, given them not enough time. And it'll be a travesty if QPR do lose out, because they have been the best side this year.
They certainly have been. Now, it's been a busy few days at the top of the Championship, starting, of course, with that extraordinary result from Portman Road on Thursday night. Well, Steve, you were there. I mean, and you told me off air, this was basically the complete performance from Norwich.
It was as good as it gets, I've got to say. I mean, we had a little, tally up to see how we thought the game would go, and we all thought it would be a close game. It was anything but. Don't forget, this was a very different Ipswich side to the last time Norwich beat them and well beat them. This was a side in good form on a promotion sort of run of results. So this was an brilliant without the ball, brilliant with the ball, work rate, passing ability, options on the ball, movement, fantastic. Very, very little that you could improve upon.
Well, needless to say, a great result for Norwich. It keeps them just ahead of Cardiff with 3 games remaining. Well, there were a couple of mouth-watering contests on Good Friday from the top end of the Championship. Forest and Leicester clashed in an East Midlands derby, but we begin with Reading, who travelled to Leeds.
That's a decent ball in, and a brilliant save by McCarthy to punch that over the crossbar, showing why he's the #1 choice at the moment. Here's Gradle, going to chance his arm from distance. Oh, well, it swerved and McCarthy has dealt with it, but had to look anxiously to see where the ball was going to go. That could so easily have gone in. Oh, this is Bradley Johnson bursting forward from midfield. Oh, he's hit the crossbar. Bradley Johnson breaking from midfield, hit with the outside of the left foot, and it's smacked up off the top of the crossbar. Sanchez Watt, number 18, doing well. Here's Gradle. Great strike, but well saved by McCarthy. Now lifted in, Snodgrass with the header. Well, no doubt this man is Reading's hero, the goalkeeper McCarthy. Helped out by his crossbar earlier, but he stood up to that strike from Max Gradle, and then the ball back in, which was well met by Snodgrass.
Both teams put in a real good shift for their club tonight. I think it's a good point. This is a really difficult place to come to. We knew that before we came tonight, but you know, there's some real good quality out there, and you know, we'll take the point.
It's a good point against a good Reading team, but it's one that we disappointed with because we did enough to win the game. I thought we defended ever so well as a team. We had the energy and the quality back and the enthusiasm. All that was lacking really was that just killer instinct.
McGugan whips it in. Oh, great goal! Marcus Tugay just able to glance this ball beyond Chris Wheel and just helps the ball on its way. Norton. Crosses a deep one, across goal, and it was just cleared away to safety. Driven back in, and Leicester have the equaliser, and it's Matt Oakley. It's a swift response from the Foxes, and Matt Oakley, who scored his first goal in just over 2 years in the draw against Palace recently, gets another one. And Sven Seider level at 1-1. It's no free kick. 3 against 2 here. It's Robert Earnshaw for Forest. Chris Wheel with the one-handed save. Leicester felt they should have had a free kick there. Good strong hands though from Wheel. Powered away, falls nicely, and Forest up in front with Robert Earnshaw. McGugan strikes it towards goal. It moved viciously in the air, but following up, Robert Earnshaw was there. Forest retake the lead. Driven across, Camp! Oh, Leicester are back in it! Darius Vassell! Leicester have twice come from behind in this match. Camp able to make the save, but Vassell was right there to just knock it over the Forest goalkeeper. Boyd. Oh, it's gone in! That's astonishing! Paul McKenna with the shot, and for the 3rd time, Nottingham Forest lead at the City Ground against Leicester. It wasn't hit with too much power or pace by McKenna, but it bobbled underneath Chris Wheel. It's a terrible mistake by the Leicester keeper.
I've said before that this will go right down to the last game or two. I've said all along that over the last number of weeks I've been bemoaning the luck it's went against us. Today it went for us in the 3rd goal. But it'll be down to refereeing decisions, lady luck, injury, suspension. But the most important thing is you can't fault the effort of these players.
Probably this was our last chance, and maybe a draw could have kept us in. To lose, I don't think we have any more possibilities now.
So Sven, ruling Leicester out of the playoffs for this season, it was a huge win for for Nottingham Forest. That I suppose they won't be complaining at the end of the day how they get their winner. I mean,
no.
I
mean, he
did
did
a bit
say
of luck there, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did say after the game, Billy, that, that they had a little bit of bad fortune in the previous couple of games, and they did. And he was first to say that you need that bit of luck. It's an error. We all make mistakes. But at that stage of the season, this stage of the season, they count a little bit more than most, don't they?
Second win in 12 for Forest. That's the kind of luck that you can almost kick on from, isn't it, for Forest?
Yeah, they needed a change of fortune because things haven't been going for them, and they've been struggling up front, scoring goals. Tugai scored an excellent goal there, but they just feel that they just lost their edge. So that might give them the impetus to move forward. But from Leicester's point of view, it's not that mistake that Chris Wilder's cost them a place in the playoffs. It's that they've only won one of their last 6 away games. Their away performances haven't been up to scratch, and that's why they've not made it. And you saw Leeds Reading. It was a game that at a point was not great for either side, really.
Well, I think it was probably more important for both sides not to get beat rather than than win the game. But they both had a go. There's no doubt about that, and they'll both be very, very close.
Right, let's see how the final contender eyeing the automatic promotion got on, shall we? For Swansea to finish in the top 2, realistically, they needed to beat Portsmouth on Saturday. The Swans haven't been the strongest on their travels, though, having lost their last 4 on the road. Portsmouth, of course, were without the suspended Ricardo Roca. His place was taken by Aaron McQuainer. Swansea made one change to the side that lost at Burnley. Alan Tate replacing Neil Taylor. At Fratton Park for us was Dan O'Hagan.
Nugent for Portsmouth. We've had a bright start here. They have a free kick as well. Pratley has shoved over David Nugent. Nugent, who is Pompey's top marksman this season. And here his first real surge has brought his team a free kick in a pretty good position. It's Mullins with the free kick for Pompey, and it goes a free header, which is just wide. McQuainer there had the goal at his mercy. And Swansea there were left exposed and almost carved open. Aaron McQuainer from 6 yards really had to score. It's a high-class delivery, but really glaring miss from the South African. Here's Ward for Pompey. And Nugent, who will go for goal and fire just wide of De Vries's post. Really unlucky. Only just past the post there from David Nugent. Pompey's top gun this season. Williams back to De Vries. And Nugent again. Charges down, the ball breaks only just wide. The goalkeeper there almost with egg on his face. Lost cause, not a bit of it. Delarts picks off that crossfield pass towards Sinclair. And Tate here with the throw-in for Swansea. He's got Sinclair nearest to him. Here's Barini and Tate. And Scott Sinclair for Swansea! Oh, unlucky! Really unlucky. Scott Sinclair sends one fizzing, zipping past the Pompey post. Nugent, can he find a way through? No. It's going to come back to Jonathan Hogg here on loan from Aston Villa. Kanu has peeled away. Here is Kanu, great control. Kanu, and Rangel gets back at him. It's behind for a corner, but maybe Kanu there should have done better. Maybe wants a penalty as well. It is only a corner. Darren Deadman says the ball was won and not the man taken, but Kanu's control here was superb. Rangel's pressure enough to put off Kanu. Mullins, Kanu's little touch for Joel Ward here. Now Kanu again. Kanu spots Hayden Mullins. Mullins, Nugent, Mullins again. Nugent falls wide. Can he get the cross in? Held up by Gary Monk. Here's Hogg. Hogg's cross, and Dickinson arriving, and there's a knock in the head there for the brave Dyer, who flung himself in there. That was a neat Pompey passage here, wasn't it, as they tried to trick and pick a way through Swansea. Here he tees up Leon Britton. for Gower again. Gower's ball clipped in. Sinclair! Chance, big chance for Swansea, for Scott Sinclair. What a chance. Now Stephen Dobby. Dobby now for Pratley. That's a good ball to find Craig Beattie here for Swansea. He's got 3-4 in the middle now. Fifth arrives as well in Gower. Here is Gower. Gower for Dobby. Dobby! Oh, it's turned away. There's Angel Rangel. Dyer! It wouldn't quite fall for them, would it? It wouldn't quite fall for them. First for Dobby, then for Rangel, then for Dyer. It stays scoreless in a game they have to win.
We could have won it, but we could have won it in the first half if we were going to win it. I thought probably they were the better team in the second half. I thought we were the better team in the first half. But I thought it was a really tough game for both teams. Great atmosphere.
Realistically now, is automatic promotion out of reach for you?
No, not at all. I don't think you can say that when it's mathematically possible. You know, I think it's something that we just have to go into every game. We can still do it. You know, teams obviously will have to drop off, but you can see that can happen, and obviously you need to win your game. So we just keep going and we see what happens.
Yeah, otherwise known as that footballing cliche, take each game as it comes, from Brendan Rodgers. I mean, knowing that Portsmouth have won 1 win in 8 going into that game, could or should Swansea have expected more than just a point from that?
Yeah, I think so. I thought they would have attacked it a bit more than they did. You know, they seem just very nervous when they go away from home, and it's just in total contrast.
That's understandable, considering their recent results. I suppose they're nervous.
Yeah, away from home, but at home they've been absolutely scintillating. And I think Brendan Rodgers has got a little bit of a conundrum there, which he hasn't managed to sort out. And I think it's just harmed their chance of going up automatically.
Right. Well, let's see how things are shaping up for the race for second place. You look at that to begin with, 4 teams possibly still in the hunt. Now, I know you two disagree with me because you think maybe 2 teams are out of that race, but who do you see as having the most favourable run-in of those 4 sides?
Norwich. Without a shadow of a doubt. Norwich, 2 home games against 3 sides that have got nothing to play for, and the way that I've seen them play over the last 2 games, undoubtedly you'd have to say Norwich from my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a Norwich supporter in our midst, and he said that they would have been delighted because they actually confirmed their playoff position, but there was no talk about it at Norwich, about them confirming their playoff position, because they're looking up, they think they can go up, but I think it's between them and Cardiff.
Now, you both think both Reading and Swansea are out of the race for second place, do you?
I think so, simply because the way that Norwich are playing and the teams that they've got left to play, there aren't any easy games. And it's no disrespect, but these are teams with nothing to play for, and you've got to take that in consideration. Norwich have everything to play for.
All right, now earlier we saw how Forest and Leeds got on, but what of the other teams frantically chasing a playoff place? Hull, Burnley, Millwall were all in action on Saturday, and we start at the KC Stadium where the Tigers took on Middlesbrough.
One defeat in their last 6 have kept Hull part of the pack chasing a playoff spot. The Tigers welcomed Middlesbrough to the KC Stadium, a team for whom Hull boss Nigel Pearson made over 100 appearances as a player. Goals at this venue have been hard to come by this season, but not this time. You wait. Any scoreless fears were forgotten inside 3 minutes. Jay Simpson, 6th of the season, easing Hull in front. But Borough have salvaged 23 points this season from losing positions and hit back. Former Celtic striker Scott McDonald on hand to blast the North-Easterners level. 2 minutes later, McDonald was at it again, the Australian taking advantage of some toothless Tigers defence to double the visitors' advantage. 3 goals and only 13 minutes played. And in a breathless first half, Borough were playing like a team possessed. The Hull defence weren't playing at all. Argentine Julio Arca gifted his 2nd of the season and Middlesbrough's 3rd of the match. Vito Mannone wasn't expected to take his place in the Hull goal for the rest of the season due to injury. He probably wished he hadn't bothered coming back. McDonald in the right place to complete a first-half hat-trick. Hull 1, Middlesbrough 4 already. The Tigers went close to pulling one back shortly after the break, Matty Fryatt rattling the woodwork. And with 21 minutes remaining, Hull created a glimmer of hope. Anthony Gerrard's low shot sneaking inside Paul Smith's upright. 4-2 to Borough now. But there was to be no Hull comeback. In fact, Leroy Lita could have increased the home side's embarrassment late on when he cracked the crossbar with this effort. 6 goals in all and a major dent to Hull's playoff hopes. 2 wins on the bounce did Eddie Howe's Burnley no harm whatsoever last week. A third at Derby could have seen the Clarets muscle their way into the playoffs. But Burnley's last 2 visits to the East Midlands at Leicester and Nottingham Forest had both ended in defeat, and they fell behind here as well, with Theo Robinson taking advantage of Stephen Pearson's pinpoint cross. However, Burnley had come from behind to beat Derby back in November and levelled things up here after 15 minutes. Brad Jones could only stand and admire Chris Eagle's fine finish. But the home side hit back and regained the advantage on the half hour. Jamie Ward with his 4th league goal of the campaign, courtesy though of a deflection from Chris McCann, who was starting his first game all season after constructive knee surgery. But it was a second-half incident that turned this match. Ward with the trip on former Derby man Tyrone Mears. Referee Mick Russell decided it warranted a straight red for him, and the Rams were down to 10 men. Eagles took the responsibility from the spot. He levelled things, but at the second attempt, and suddenly it was 2-2 with half an hour to go. And the Clarets made the extra man count almost immediately. Eagles turned provider for Wade Elliott to head his second in 2 games to put the visitors 3-2 up. And Burnley's day in the Derby sun was complete 9 minutes later, when McCann, making up for his earlier deflection with the most accurate shot possible. Burnley now well and truly in the playoff mix.
I think that's as good as we played. I thought we passed and moved the ball really well. And this was before it went 11v10. I thought we thoroughly deserved the win in the end.
So contrasting fortunes for Hull and Burnley, but what of the other team chasing the playoffs? Millwall. They face Preston, a team desperate for points at the other end of the table. Your commentator, Adam Pope.
Taylor there gets a one-handed punch, and Darren Pearce arrives at the far post. The mistake from the keeper, who'd done so well to keep Millwall at bay. But Henry's delivery, and Darren Pearce gets his first goal for Millwall. And what an important goal that could be in their fight for the playoffs. And here come Millwall again. McCoy edging his way, he's tried one off. What an unbelievable strike. It's his first goal for the club. And within moments of having taken the lead, Preston have been rocked by another goal from Millwall, and this was sheer brilliance. The 21-year-old Northern Ireland international letting fly, and Ian Turner could do nothing about this. Abdu thought of how the shot was, been encouraged to take the shot. Now Henry. McGory. Towards the back post, turned back towards Abdu, and surely the game is sealed now. From close range, Marcus this time on the score sheet, and Millwall have punished Preston North End for the failure to clear their lines. Long looping ball played in, the miss hit from Abdu from the play back from Townsend. But Marcus from close range wasn't going to miss. Chase is on once again, and Turner's out, and the referee has a decision to make. And as Turner comes rushing out, he could be in major trouble. He sees a caution only, and Ian Turner goes to meet McCoy, who never gave up the chase, puts out an arm and clips both feet. Henry to seal it, and does so. A superb strike from James Henry, his 5th goal of the season. And the 21-year-old just adds to Preston's misery and points Millwall even further towards the playoffs.
We didn't play like the team that we have played of late. Our battling qualities weren't there evident enough, shall we say, and our quality on the ball wasn't there evident enough, and consequently, we fully deserve to get beat.
Every game that we win, we keep the pressure on people, and that's what we have to do.
And they did it in some style as well. Great win over Preston for Millwall. We'll talk about that in a second. Couple of firsts. Let's talk about Burnley and that comeback win over Derby. They're stuttering of late, but they've clicked just when you thought they were out of form. They're back in form now, aren't they, with Chris McCann scoring his first goal of the season?
Yeah, they are back in form. 3 games now on the trot they've won, and sometimes people don't realise what professional footballers have to go through sometimes to get on the pitch. And Chris McCann, who missed the whole of their Premier League campaign, he's a good player. Finds a little bit of space there, but it's an excellent finish. Drives it into that bottom corner, and it was his first start of the season, and you could see what it meant to him and the team.
I think, yeah. As for Millwall, and another first, it was a first goal for Josh McCoy for the Lions, your old club, Steve. What a terrific performance from them, particularly when they had a striker shortage going into this one.
Well, supposedly, but quite sure that Preston do quite enough, as he alluded to. Battling qualities weren't there, and a little look here at maybe at Ian Ashby, look at the job that he's been given to do, which is to stop exactly this thing happening. He doesn't get a tackle, you'd expect him to. That's a fine finish, don't get me wrong, but you still expect some sort of pressure to be put on the ball. But they were good, particularly second half, against the Preston side who've been in good form. So they look like they're going to have a good end to the season.
That kind of win gives you great momentum.
Absolutely. I don't think too many will look forward to playing them.
No. So Burnley and Millwall push on. We saw Hull hammered by Middlesbrough then. And this is the top 10 then, and the playoff positions, well, it's all for 6th place, isn't it? And Hull they got QPR on Monday, and I should think they'll be thankful it's away from home.
We can't call it. We've gone through this for half an hour, 40 minutes.
Who's going to get 6th?
Well, we don't know, and I don't think anybody can call it. A better man than me can choose one of those teams. I think Hull, it's going to be difficult for Hull, to overtake four teams to get into that playoff position. But those 4 teams, they've got 2 games away from home. But I just think Forest, they just had a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
Their running's not too bad. And it just might give them that bit of confidence. I expect them to be comfortably in those situations, but they've gone through a bad run, had the result against Leicester. I think they might take advantage of it.
Thanks for incisiveness. Well, a hugely impressive win for Millwall certainly puts a massive dent into Preston's survival hopes. And it's been a crucial few days for the other teams battling against the drop. We begin our roundup with Friday's game between 2 teams still very much in trouble, Doncaster and Crystal Palace.
A combination of warm Easter weather, free tickets for the home fans and the promise of a massive match attracted the largest crowd of the season to the Keepmoat Stadium for Friday night's game. Doncaster against Crystal Palace was a meeting of the 2 teams just above the relegation zone, and John Oster went close to giving the majority of the 14,000 crowd something to cheer early on. Palace's midfielder Neil Dans needs just 1 more goal to equal last season's tally of 9 in all competitions. How his team could have done with it in this match, and he wasn't far away. Palace could move above Rovers with a win, and they had a golden opportunity late on. But substitute Stefan Everson couldn't make the most of it, and both sides had to settle for what could be a precious point apiece. While those around them have picked up wins to boost their survival hopes, Sheffield United face an increasingly tough task. The Blades were hoping to avoid a 5th successive defeat when they played Bristol City, but the damage was self-inflicted inside 10 minutes, Steve Simonson fumbling Brett Pitman's corner into his own net. Bristol City manager Keith Millen summed up the hopes of the beleaguered Blades, saying they needed a miracle to stay up. Well, Lee Williamson's leveller probably owed more to luck than divine intervention. And that was the start of a mad 3 minutes. The goal was quickly followed by this challenge by Nicky Maynard on Matthew Loughton. That was Maynard's last act in this encounter, but there was plenty more action to come. A heavy downpour had done little to dampen the excitement. Just a minute later, Nick Montgomery's shot was blocked. David McAllister tried his luck, and what a strike it was. A great way to mark his full debut. So United went into the second half a goal up, and with a man advantage. But City almost struck back from this Brett Pitman free kick, the Blades living on the edge. And they were punished on the hour. Montgomery made the original mistake, and Harry Maguire lunged desperately at John Stead. Andy D'Urso awarded a penalty and evened up the numbers, as this time Maguire was sent off. Brett Pitman stepped up and scored to make it 2-2. Disgruntled Blades fans had shown their displeasure with some of boss Mickey Adams' decisions, but maybe he did know what he was doing, as teenager Jordan Slew's second senior goal keeps alive United's slim hopes of championship survival. wins in their last 3 have given Scunthorpe a fighting chance of hauling themselves out of the drop zone. They travel to the Ricoh Arena on Friday night, hoping to extend that run with a first ever win on the road against host Coventry. But the early signs weren't good for the Iron. Marlon King has been on a bit of a hot streak in the league of late. He was on hand to fire home his 10th league goal in 11 games. Coventry won up after just 5 minutes. Lukas Jutkovic could have made it 2 for the home side moments later. The 22-year-old, though, unable to find the target for what would have been his 8th league goal of the season. Coventry's keeper Kieran Westwood had been more of a spectator for most of the early stages, but he had to be alert to keep the home side ahead. And if they were to maintain their chances of safety, Scunthorpe knew they had to hit back, and they did so shortly before the break. Honduran Ramon Nunez obliging, courtesy of a Martin Craney deflection, a vital goal in the Irons' fight for survival. Coventry, though, could have made it 3 home wins in a row were it not for keeper Joe Murphy. 1-1 it finished, a vital point for Scunthorpe, who now have 3 games left to secure survival. A match between 2 teams safe from the drop, but with only Watford having a slender chance of the playoffs, this didn't promise much. It started brightly enough. Luke Steele pushed Troy Deeney's header onto the bar, and John Eustace could hardly miss. The Hornets ahead after just 70 seconds. But the next 5,350 seconds, give or take, were uneventful. The best chance of the remaining 89 minutes fell to Barnsley's Danny Haynes, but a good Scott Loach save gave Watford a first win in 6.
So Watford back to winning ways, and despite their recent blip, I think they've had a terrific season under Malky Mackay. Absolutely. But that game at Bramall Lane, I mean, I don't think they've often seen 3 goals for the home side, for the Sheffield fans. Have they got a ray of hope here? Jordan Slew's given them just that little slither, isn't he?
It is a little slither, it has to be said. I mean, they've got to go to Reading and they've got to go to Swansea. And probably will have to win all 3 games, and that still might not be enough. So, might be a little bit too late, but
yeah,
you know, what they will want is something to build on from next season if they do get relegated.
But that's it. I suppose the one thing that will hearten Mickey Adams is the heart that they showed there.
Well, you do get the feeling the level of performances is getting better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's hope that they have turned the corner in that respect. But you do get the feeling it might just be a little bit too late.
Well, Jordan Slew might have a part to play next season, no matter what division Sheffield United find themselves in. Well, this is the bottom of the table then. Do you see the bottom 3 changing much over the next couple of weeks?
I don't. I feel Sheffield United got too much to do, as Steve's just said, and Preston, that performance today I think it's really condemned them to relegation. And Scunthorpe, Scunthorpe were playing well under Alan Neil, but you just look at their goals against, 39, minus 39, so they need to get 4 more points.
Millwall, Forest as well next 2 games.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. So Palace at home. They've got a couple of home games, so you just feel that Palace will just do enough to
sneak out. It's not 3 points, it's 4, isn't it? Because of
the goal difference.
So you've got 2 really difficult games, Scunthorpe. So.
OK, well, let's see whether teams of those teams share your optimism or indeed pessimism. Ori, what can you tell us?
Well, Manish, we'll actually start at the bottom of the table and then move gradually to the top. And Jodie, who's a Sheffield United fan, has emailed in after that 3-2 win over Bristol City to say, is this a late fight back, or are we going to throw it all away on Monday night? That is their match against the Royals of Reading. Whatever it is, you mentioned his name. Jordan Slew is absolute quality. He's going to be key to us next season. Just don't know why he wasn't started any earlier this season. Ben's also a blade. He said, first, well done to the lads. It was a close game today against Bristol City, but the better team won. And one more thing, thanks Millwall, because you beat Preston 4-0 at the Den. It's about this time of the season where everybody's supporting the teams around their rivals, aren't they? Liam is a Middlesbrough fan who's texted and said, brilliant 4-2 win for Borough over Hull today. Super Mac, that's Scott McDonald, if you're not on nickname terms like Liam. Grabbing a hat-trick was amazing. Mowbray really is taking us places now. Promotion push next season, he asks. At the top, QPR, 2-2 against Cardiff. Steve is a Bluebird and says, now that's 3 penalty appeals turned down for Cardiff against City, Cardiff City against QPR this season. Why? He enjoyed the atmosphere, he enjoyed the game, and a credit to the Championship. We might see both those teams in the Premier League come next season. But Julian, who's of course looking forward to QPR's imminent arrival in the Premier League, has a comment for the managers and says, credit for Neil Warnock to shake the hands of the Cardiff City players, but Dave Jones appears to abhor all things Rangers. Never has a good word to say about them. Neil Warnock obviously showing his saintly side. Back to you.
Thanks, Ori. On to League One then, and here's a reminder of how things were looking at the top of the table going into the Easter period, and the battle starting to really hot up for both second place and the playoffs. Just 3 points separated Southampton, Huddersfield and Peterborough, while the race for the playoffs is becoming more intriguing by the week. The one thing we do know, of course, is that Brighton are champions, which made Southampton's visit to the Withdean a real test.
The champions came to party, but they were also determined to put one over their nearest rivals. And it was all going according to plan just before half-time, when Southampton defender Radi Jaidi sold his keeper short and Ashley Barnes nipped in for his 17th goal of the season in all competitions. But the Seagulls couldn't withstand a late Saints onslaught. Oft-injured David Connolly came off the bench to claim a deserved equaliser with 6 minutes remaining. And if that was something to shout about for the travelling fans, the decibel level went off the scale in the 89th minute, when Jose Fonte's looping header not only ended Brighton's unbeaten home record, it also kept Southampton in control of their own destiny. 3 wins out of their last 4 games will see Nigel Adkins' side join Brighton in the Championship next season.
We believed we were going to score. You know, we've got great belief about the team. You know, and we've turned it around in the second half. You know, the game plan we thought was right. We changed a little bit of personnel. It was great to get Adam Lallana back on the pitch again. He's been out injured. And David Connolly, who's been out injured since, you know, more or less been at the football club, has popped up with a great goal.
2 of the top 6 met at Stadium MK on Friday as Huddersfield took their 17-game unbeaten run to MK Dons. Scott Arfield gave the West Yorkshire side a lead when he drove in his 6th of the campaign from 20 yards. A terrific strike from the 22-year-old. Milton Keynes had the chance to level things before half-time. Daniel Powell turned in the area, but hit the deck after minimal contact from Gary Roberts. Penalty for the home side, but the usually reliable Peter Leven couldn't beat Ian Bennett. Moments later, the Terriers doubled their advantage when Lee Peltier was left unmarked and he happily headed home Roberts' corner. Huddersfield continued to pile on the pressure after the break and they won their own penalty. Benica Fobe with a good run before he was felled by Gary McKenzie. The scorer of the first goal, Arfield, stepped up to take it, but like Leven, he was unable to convert. Afobe also missing on the rebound. Second half substitute Danny Cadamartre's deflected header sealed the points for Lee Clark's side. With time ticking down, Mateus Dumbe took advantage of a defensive lapse for a consolation. The Dons remain in the playoff places. Huddersfield continue to eye up automatic promotion.
Peterborough's hopes of automatic promotion all but disappeared in East London. Stephen Dawson's centre was sliced past his own keeper by Gabriel Zakwani. Tough on the defender on his return to Orient, while Dawson took the plaudits. Darren Ferguson sent on Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, and the sub met Grant McCann's corner. No chance for O's keeper Jamie Jones. Mendez-Lang celebrated his 3rd of the season. But it was another replacement who made the decisive impact. Ryan Jarvis came off the bench for just his 2nd appearance for the O's since October. 6 minutes into added time, he met Jason Crow's centre. A massive win was the Orient manager's verdict, and their season is still alive.
Bournemouth have never won at Hewish Park and must think there's a jinx on the place after this strange affair, which saw everything going their way 5 minutes into the second half. The Glovers' Paul Huntington, already on a yellow card, must have feared the worst after bringing down Danny Ings. Referee Steve Tanner didn't waste much time letting him know his fate. 5 minutes later, Spurs loanee Adam Smith burst into the box, only to be brought down by namesake Nathan Smith. Another easy decision for the man in black, who nevertheless wanted a second opinion before pointing to the spot. Pretty easy for Ings as well, the youngster's 5th goal of an impressive season. Joy for the sun-soaked travelling fans, who must have thought that a playoff place was all but locked up when Ings doubled the lead on 68 minutes. At that point, Bournemouth held an impressive 5-point lead over their nearest rivals, but they hadn't quite exercised their Hewish Park hoodoo, and the demons of doubt must have been dancing in the back of Harry Arter's mind as he threw his hands up in his own penalty area to concede a penalty. Adam Virgo put it away with 4 minutes remaining. And then, 3 minutes into stoppage time, the inevitable equaliser. Swansea loanee Sean McDonald with the header. Bournemouth remain in the last playoff place, but this could have been so much better.
Carlisle arrived at Scotland in search of their first away win in almost 2 months. They must have felt that run would end when Craig Curran hit the post and Rochdale's Marcus Holness was unable to avoid putting the ball in his own net. That lead lasted just 5 minutes. Joe Thompson, on his return to the side, was left unmarked 6 yards out and made no mistake with his thumping header. Dale back on level terms, a moment to celebrate. The second half brought 3 more goals, all of stunning quality. Matt Dunn put the home side in front for the first time. After a good run, he had the poise to curl the ball into the corner. But the Cumbrians hit back for the 3rd Saturday in a row. Liam Noble was on the score sheets, and you're going to have to go a long way to find a cleaner strike than this. It's the 3rd of the campaign for the 19-year-old Sunderland loanee. Not to be outdone, the game was won with a 25-yard free kick. Matty Robson on target, catching goalkeeper Owen Fon-Williams off guard, gifting Carlisle victory on the road.
Exeter made it 5 wins in a row to bring the Latics' recent revival to an end. The Grecians struck on the break through Scott Goulbourne, beating keeper Dean Brill at his near post. Only Goulbourne's 2nd of the season. Before the break, they doubled their advantage, and a first victory over Oldham for 45 years was assured. John O'Flynn sliced his effort, but Jamie Curitan pounced for his 20th of the season. And with 3 to play, the Devon club can still match or better their best post-war finish of 8th.
And Exeter 13 points better off than last season. They're showing great progress under Peter Tisdale, aren't they?
Paul
Tisdale,
sorry,
of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I think the key was, you know, selling Ryan Harley, but keeping him there on loan. He's the one who makes
that was a wise move from them.
Absolutely, and Ryan is a really good footballer. I've known him for a long time, you know, Bristol lad. And the other lad who's not so young is Jamie Curitan, scoring us 20 now. That's great.
So, yeah, Exeter there coming in off the blind side to try and make a late dart for the playoffs. Very similar to the Championship, this, because the race for 6th and the race for 2nd very much up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 3 teams going for those automatics, and then you would like to think that MK Dons, Peterborough, and whatever are in the playoffs, and 4 or 5 clubs going for that one place. What a big goal to concede from Bournemouth as well. Would have took them 5 clear, and you would have said, you know, made them really odds-on favourites then to get that last spot. So they'll be kicking themselves because they were all over the winners until the last minute.
And the Saints have put themselves in pole position for 2nd place. Massive win for this against their arch rivals. It's been spiced up in the wake of recent comments from both camps. And what a time to inflict Brighton's first home league defeat.
Yeah, that's a winner from Jose Fonte, big centre-half, and I think he was in the players' league team because he's a good defender, but that's a very good header, and you can tell what it meant. There's not a lot of love lost between those 2 sides, are there? 2
big goals, one against, obviously, for Yeovil, and that one, you know, we'll have a big save come the end of the season.
Well, for a long time now, Southampton have had that game in hand over Huddersfield as they look to cement 2nd place. Potential banana skins for those 2 teams. Where do you see them coming?
Well, I just feel that Southampton are just finding ways to win. You know, they snuck out a win against Rovers. They've beaten Brighton at home just now. And they're missing a few players. Barnard's out injured, which is a big blow for them. But I just feel that they're in the box seat. The game that they've got in hand is away to Plymouth. But even saying that, Plymouth did beat them on the first
Interestingly, for Southampton, they've lost to 3 of those teams they've yet to face. Is that going to count towards anything?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that will. In the scheme of things, I think they're a different side now. They've got some sort of consistency. And Huddersfield have always got to go to Brighton. I mean, that's probably Southampton's get out.
Yeah. All right, well, to the bottom of League One now, which, like the top, has plenty of issues still to be resolved. We begin with 2 teams embroiled in the relegation dogfight in Dagenham and Redbridge and Plymouth.
Plenty to ponder for the managers Peter Reid and John Still as 2 of League One's relegation rivals met at Dagenham. The only goal of the game came in the second half. Rory Patterson's deflected 25-yard free kick, enough to bag 3 crucial points for Argyle. They did have to weather a second half storm as the Daggers pushed on. Goalkeeper David Button made a great double save, first from John Akinde, then Danny Green. The task got even harder for Reid's side, who struggled with discipline all season. Patterson went from hero to villain as he was dismissed for this challenge on Danny J. Green. The Pilgrims held on to keep alive faint hopes of staying up, but these 2 remain in great danger of going down.
Martin Allen has stamped his signature on Notts County's survival push, but it was fellow strugglers Swindon who took the lead on 18 minutes at the county ground. Matt Ritchie with the finishing touch. The Robins haven't won on their own patch in 4 months, and luck isn't on their side. An inch lower, and this is a goal of the season candidate from Jonathan Douglas. Instead, the let-off gave County the chance to regroup. 2 second-half substitutes made the difference. Alan Judge hadn't scored since December 2009, so his leveller on 78 minutes was long overdue. And with Swindon nerves jangling, Scott Cuthbert froze 5 minutes from time. The predatory Lee Hughes made him pay. County more or less safe now, but even Alan admits this was tough on Swindon.
Not sure if we deserved it, because of what I've got to say. I have seen this afternoon the best volley I think, ever seen at a football ground. That Jonathan Douglas for Swindon, and I was stood right behind it in the technical area, and you could imagine as the manager at 1-0 down, he's hit a volley from must be 35 yards, and it was like in all the way, and it's just hit the underside of the bar. If that went in, we were doomed.
Sat comfortably in mid-table, Charlton might have appeared the ideal opponents for troubled Rovers, but they stunned the Memorial Ground with an opener on 8 minutes. Paul Benson with the header. And seconds after half-time, Rovers' survival hopes looked even more fragile. Carl Reed's piledriver giving Conrad Logan in the Pirates' goal no chance. But within 8 minutes, Reed managed to collect 2 yellow cards. The second finished James Tunnicliffe's afternoon. Referee Ray Lewis finished Reed's involvement. Addicks boss Chris Powell accepted that decision, but said he was dumbfounded when the official then reduced his side to 9 men. Jose Semedo's challenge on Rovers player boss Stuart Campbell. A second yellow for Semedo and a miserable end to his 150th Addicks appearance. Rovers sensed their opportunity, and with 25 minutes remaining, Wayne Brown cut the deficit. The striker's first goal since he last faced Charlton in November. The 11 men went chasing an equaliser. It came on 83 minutes with Byron Anthony teeing up Gavin Williams. And it could prove vital in a fortnight's time.
Walsall knew victory over Sheffield Wednesday would take them out of the relegation zone, and they started the game well. 10 minutes in, Julian Gray's deep cross eventually found John Macken, and the veteran striker showed plenty of composure to volley the home side in front. The Owls are a little more resilient these days and fought back before the break. Lewis Buxton's shot was fumbled by Jimmy Walker. Neil Mellor was on hand for his 18th of the season, probably the flukiest of the lot. Wednesday went closest to a winner in the second half. Gary Medine throwing himself at the ball, but he couldn't find the target. So a point apiece, leaving the Saddlers in the bottom 4.
Hartlepool are safe in mid-table and played like a team under no pressure at all. Anthony Sweeney's 14th goal of the season in all competitions gave them a deserved 14th-minute lead. And they could have had more as they used the Tranmere goal for target practice. If Dennis Behan's brilliant effort had gone in, it would have been game over. Instead, Tranmere pinched an equaliser late on. Debutant keeper Andy Rafferty did well to keep out Enoch Shawunmi's effort, but couldn't stop Dale Jennings poaching the point that almost certainly secures Tranmere's League One future.
Two mid-table clubs already looking ahead to next season. Colchester boss John Ward made 5 changes after his side's 4-1 defeat at Carlisle, and he got a response as well as the lead. Ian Henderson with the U's opener on 15 minutes. Bees caretaker boss Nicky Forster felt Sam Saunders showed some Premiership quality. His pinpoint free kick on 74 minutes certainly was, and won't harm Forster's hopes of landing the role full-time.
So the points shared at Brentford. Martin Allen is doing it, isn't he? I mean, from Barnet, he got them playing out of their skins. He's now doing it at Notts County with successive wins. Now, he does talk very eloquently about this game-changing moment from Jonathan Douglas at Swindon.
Yeah. I'm not sure it'd have been quite so magnanimous if it had gone in the back of the net, I must admit. When you win 2-1, it's far easier to heap praise, and that was a great strike. But what you can say about Martin's teams are that yet again we've seen another second half comeback, like the ones at Barnet. And all right, they don't help themselves out here, do they? But he's still got a little bit of work to do, Lee Hughes, and he does it well. But I think Matthew Rose and Scott Cuthbert can now open their eyes after.
I think it was an astonishing admission from Martin Allen when he got the Notts County job that he doesn't know any of the players. He's just going to get on with it, and he doesn't need to be familiar if he's getting results
He'll
like
get them
that.
organised and he'll get them prepared, no doubt.
And for Bristol Rovers, and they needed some kind of result today. And what a comeback, albeit against 9 men of Charlton.
That was a massive point for Bristol. I mean, they'd lost their previous 2 games before this, and even though Charlton went down to 9 men, they needed something to get going again, because Stuart Campbell's gone in there and done an excellent job, but they hit a little bit of brick wall. Good finish by Gavin Williams, you know, seen him do that at Bristol City, and when he was at loan at Yeovil, and good signing for them, and now they've got a chance.
You've got to appreciate the job Stuart Campbell's taken on there as player-manager and battling against relegation. He played the full 90 today.
Yeah, especially as you're playing as well. I mean, it is important that it's important that you delegate, and obviously for some people, as much as you don't want to, you've got to let them have control and let them sort of do things that maybe you would want to do in an ideal situation.
Well, that point for Rovers keeps them very much in touch with Dagenham and Redbridge. Plymouth have got that game in hand. It just happens to be against Southampton.
Yeah, 4 from 5 for me.
Well, yeah, I think it's 2 from 3. I think that Plymouth, although they're showing commendable spirit, I think it's going to be really tough. But you know, those 3, Dagenham, Walsall, and Bristol Rovers, they're not in great form. But I just feel that it's going to be between those 2 from those 3.
OK, well, let's hear from some of those teams then. Ori, what can you tell us?
Well, at the top of the league, Manish, it obviously looks like Brighton are getting themselves ready for Championship football next season. And Bradley enjoyed ending Brighton's unbeaten home run by saying, very good comeback for Southampton today. Now we're going up. Come on, you Saints. Danny, who's also a Saint, says, great day and great result at Brighton today for Saints. And he's one of a few people that seem to be unhappy about Gus Poyet's reaction post-match. What a shame Poyet can't be more gracious in defeat, he says. They were beaten by the better team. Huddersfield are on Southampton's toes, just a goal difference separating those two. Heppy in Huddersfield says, can't believe Saints scraped that win today. All Huddersfield can do is keep winning. Pressure's on Saints. If they slip up, will pounce. Dan's emailed in after Yeovil's 2-2 draw with Bournemouth. He'd like to say how well the team did to pull level after being 2-0 down with 10 men. As for Bournemouth, Robert says, I'm a loyal AFC Bournemouth fan, but why is it that we can't hold on to leads? Down from the south coast and up to the northeast, Andy is a Carlisle fan. Another decent performance today away at playoff chasing Rochdale. They won 3-2. I'd like to say to Liam Noble, take a bow, son, after what is no doubt a strong contender for goal of the season after that 25-yard screamer. And he's got a warning for O's fans. Listen up. And he'd also like to say, sorry to Leyton Orient fans in advance, but your playoff hopes are going to be dented when you visit us on Monday. All afternoon kickoffs. I think
Russell Slade's done a terrific job at Brisbane Road, hasn't he? To League Two, then, perhaps one of the most predictable outcomes of the season has to be Chesterfield's promotion. With the Spyrights topping the table since November, it's long been a question of when rather than if. Clem will do anything to get an invite to a party.
It's been a powerful atmosphere in Chesterfield over the last 24 hours or so. There were umpteen scenarios whereby they could have been promoted to League One this weekend. In the end, they did it without kicking a ball. Chesterfield knew they'd go up if Wycombe failed to win at Torquay on Good Friday, and that's exactly what happened. Torquay were the better side but couldn't find the net. Not that Chesterfield were bothered. 0-0 it finished at Plainmoor. John Sheridan's team were up and the celebrations could start.
Where were you? How did you find out? How did you follow what was going on down at Plainmoor? I was actually at home. I was cutting the grass, to be fair. My family's away at the moment. They're in Tenerife, so I was on my own at home doing a bit of gardening, getting the good books in there. But it was a good relief. I just looked at the result. I didn't skip through it while the game was going on. I just looked at it 5 o'clock, and obviously the draw was what we wanted, and promotion for us.
I was getting food out with one of my friends at the time, and then I just checked on my phone and I seen that we was promoted, and I was just buzzing after that. So I seen on a couple of the boys' Blackberry statuses as well that we've been promoted, so it was good.
The modern way to find out about things, Blackberry status.
We couldn't celebrate properly because obviously we've got a game today, you know what I mean? I think a few of the boys would like to let their hair down a little bit, but we haven't had the chance yet because obviously today and Bury on Monday, so...
If you could have written a perfect script, would you have rather won it
at your own feet and hands?
I'm probably a bit of a pessimist. I could have seen us losing the last 5 games and not going up, so I was quite happy to be sat on my sofa.
Miserable beggar.
Maybe I might have done it today when we're playing, but it was nice to get it done yesterday. Good feeling. It's a long, hard season, and you know, we're delighted.
I met the bus. It was just like we was down in the relegation zone, sort of like nobody was talking, everybody's quiet, and that. You know, I think got on the wrong bus here, but you know, I think everybody is buzzing. You know, I think the management and that they're going to be. You know, they probably did have a drink last night.
We've played well from start to finish. We've deserved what we've got to yet.
New ground, and we're hopefully going to win the league as well.
He's building a proper squad now to go into League One, and we're there now. We just want Championship now. That's what we want.
Just Spurs! If you love the town, just Spurs! If you love the town.
We've got promotion with 4 games to go, and now we've got to try and carry on the good things we've done all season and go on and win the title if we can. I'm pleased the way we've played and the manner we've played and won games, and we've done well against the teams who were fancied and who were up there and who were always pushing us, and we've always got positive results against them. So, well, it's full credit to the players.
Oxford had the better of the 2 teams in a scrappy game, but it was the visitors who nearly opened the scoring through Mark Allett's 40-yard volley. The home side created the best of the chances from then on, but couldn't find a way past Tommy Lee, who was in inspired form. Alfie Potter was the man denied before the Spyrites scrambled the ball away. The second half followed a similar theme. Potter picked out James Constable, who was stunned to see the outstretched left boot of Lee when the ball looked destined to go in. And it wasn't to be Constable's day. A slick passing move again released the striker, but Lee was out to smother his shot and ensure Chesterfield remained unbeaten at their promotion party.
What about this lot?
Oh, they're brilliant. There must be over 2,000 of them there, and they've been with us through thick and thin all season, and they deserve this.
Finally, you're getting the party started. It was a bit of a funny atmosphere pre-match. I don't think any of you knew what to do.
Yeah, it was a bit funny, but you know, we can celebrate now, but you know, we want to get the 3 points against Bury to win the title.
Let's get up. Good luck to you, boys, on the rest of it.
Well done. How are we doing? Okay. It's a good battling performance, a good point in the end. Good point. Good boys!
Yeah, great afternoon for Chesterfield. You certainly can't begrudge them the title now. I mean, they've been dominating that league for so many months.
They've been magnificent. You know, well done to John Sheridan and his coaching staff, which includes Mark Crossley, his first year as a coach, so well done to him. But, you know, I was a bit concerned when they left Saltergate, because when I take sides to Saltergate, I never got anything from there. It wasn't a place I looked forward to go to, but they turned the V2Net Stadium into a real fortress, won 15 games, only lost 3.
They haven't lost back-to-back all season.
It just shows how consistent and how level-headed John Sheridan's been as well, you know, not let anything really affect the players. And then Craig Davis and Jack Lester, they've had the best 2 forwards in the division as well.
Yeah, very many congratulations to Chesterfield. But what of the other 2 automatic promotion places that are up for grabs? We start our roundup with the team that went into the Easter weekend in 2nd place, Bury.
Football management won't get any better for Bury caretaker boss Richie Barker, who has a perfect record from his 4 games in charge. Lincoln came close to ending that run. Cian Houghton's mazy run created a chance for Tom Kilby, who came close to opening his account for the club. The only goal came in the 56th minute. Tom Lees rose highest to nod home Peter Sweeney's corner. Barker's Shakers have now won 5 on the bounce, and they're just 1 victory from securing automatic promotion.
Shrewsbury took advantage of Wycombe's draw to move into the automatic promotion places with a comfortable win in the A49 derby against Hereford. James Collins opened the scoring on 27 minutes. With 6 wins out of their last 7, the Shrews have hit form at just the right time. Tom Bradshaw's 6th of the season made it safe for the visitors shortly before the hour mark. On this evidence, Shrewsbury are going to take some stopping.
A feisty affair at Roots Hall. Referee David Coote flashed 7 yellow cards, 5 to Stevenage players who were unable to strengthen their playoff claims. Their task wasn't made any easier by Peter Wynn's throat-high tackle on Sean Cloesy. Manager Graham Wesley argued there'd been no intent, but Wynne was off. The Stevenage boss also felt his side deserved 3 second-half penalties. They had to settle for 1 for Bilal Mosney's clumsy challenge on Byron Harrison. John Mousinho stepped up, but keeper Glenn Morris guessed correctly and kept the Shrimpers on level terms. And then Southend scored the decisive goal. Ryan Hall's corner met by Barry Corr. The Irishman's 20th of the season, dealing a real blow to the visitors.
Barnet this week called on the services of former Northern Ireland manager Laurie Sanchez as football advisor. What guidance he's given seems to have worked. The Bees took the lead at Gillingham through Mark Byrne, his 5th of the campaign. But the home side are in the playoff mix and in good form. They levelled after good work from Cody McDonald. Andy Barcham was in the right place at the right time. But Priestfield was rocked again in first half injury time. Q Eisel McLeod, who headed home the first of his 25-minute hat-trick. Thankfully, his finishing was better than his cartwheel. With the visitors taking the game by the scruff of the neck, McLeod was at it again 7 minutes after the restart, improvising to chest in Sam Deering's cross. Matt Lawrence then fouled Byrne, giving the former Derby striker McLeod the chance to claim the match ball. He duly obliged with his 13th of the season. Andy Hesenthal's Gillingham were falling apart, and when Josh Gowling fouled Jack Midson, McLeod was licking his lips at the chance of scoring 4. Sadly for him, his cheeky chip missed the target. There was some consolation for the home side before the end. Barcham with his 2nd of the game, but Gillingham are now out of the playoff positions, while Barnet have got more than a sniff of safety.
If the players can put performances like that, week in, week out, and train like they've done the last few weeks, you know, we will be fine. But there's no point coming to Gillingham away from home and doing what we've done to Gillingham today and not turning up Monday.
Accrington are right in the promotion shake-up. They were in front after just 9 minutes through Luke Joyce. He hadn't scored for 16 months. It was rather special when it finally arrived. Perhaps Stanley weren't content with just brushing Bradford aside. They did so with some quality finishing. Andy Proctor with the 2nd. And while John Coleman's side were on their way to a 14th home win, Bradford are still not safe. Their misery complete when Sean McConville turned in number 3. So Stanley head to promotion rival Shrewsbury on Easter Monday, and no mistaking the desire if Dean Winnard and Jimmy Ryan typify their will to win.
Stockport live to fight another day. Dead men walking they may be, but the corpse suddenly twitched back to life at Vale Park when on 20 minutes Anthony Elding gave the league's bottom side a surprise lead. Vale's own promotion hopes are in danger of flatlining after this latest setback, although there was hope when Sean Riggs celebrated his first goal since November, 10 minutes into the second half. A neat touch from Rob Taylor's cross. Just 1 win in 10 now for Port Vale, whose lack of confidence was evident when Taylor hit the bar, only for the usually deadly Mark Richards to blaze the rebound high. And they paid for that miss 3 minutes from time when Elding stole in at the other end to drive a stake through the heart of Vale's promotion hopes and keep their own hearts beating for another few days at least.
We'll talk about Stockport's invaluable win very shortly. But Accrington Stanley, I mean, they continue to defy the odds under John Coleman, don't they? And on a shoestring budget. They're in the highest position all season, and what a time to do it.
That's amazing. You know, he's only been in this division for a few seasons, and John Coleman's done an incredible job, especially, you know, in the position they were just over 12 months ago when they had the Save Our Stanley fund,
yeah.
You know, when they were almost going into administration. Players haven't been paid at times during this season, and, you know, a great goal from Andy Proctor there, just cemented their position.
We've seen a couple of hat-tricks today in the Football League. Scott McDonald for Middlesbrough, Eisen McLeod for Barnet, and that was some performance. We saw the best and worst of Mr. McLeod, it's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, he gets himself in a nice position here. And I mean, we've seen plenty of those missed. That's the way not to take a penalty. Will they never learn?
Trying to do a Panenka, apparently.
Yes.
And for Stockport, 106 years stay in the Football League, they're clinging on to it and they're not going to throw the towel in just yet.
Definitely not. That's a massive win for them, wasn't it? Yeah,
huge win.
Yeah, and they got Northampton coming up on Monday. That's going to be a big game.
Yeah, possible takeover in the pipeline. So you never things can turn around very quickly at football, but it might be just a tad too much to ask to get out of this situation this season.
Yeah, you think maybe that the time maybe has come to an end?
I would have said that a few weeks ago, but that win today, and then now they've dragged Northampton into it. They beat Northampton on Monday.
Are on a horrendous run at the minute.
Awful. Gary Johnson's been there 9 games, hasn't won a game. So they're not in any sort of winning habit.
OK, well, let's round up the rest of the League Two action. And Barnet's victory on Saturday was pretty bad news for the Cobblers and Burton down at the bottom of the table. Here's how those two got on, starting with the Cobblers, who welcomed Rotherham on Friday night.
Gary Johnson has yet to taste success as Northampton manager, and fears of relegation are now very real after failure to beat Rotherham stretched their winless run to 17. Their luck was out right from the start. Nicky Law's effort taking a horrible deflection off Paul Rogers and into the Northampton net. That should have set the Millers on their way to only their 2nd win since February. And in first half stoppage time, that looked to be a formality when Ryan Taylor's 10th league goal of the season doubled the visitors' advantage. But Johnson made a double substitution at the start of the second half and was rewarded when one of the new boys, Michael Uwezu, hit the post and the other new face, Leon McKenzie, stabbed home the loose ball on 68 minutes. That set up a nail-biting finale, and typically for two teams who just can't buy 3 points these days, it finished all square when Liam Davis netted his first goal in just over a year to make it 2-2. In truth, the point doesn't do much for either side. Johnson's fight for league survival is going to the wire.
Once we up the commitment and the passion and the running and the challenges, we got braver in the second half. Then we got the game back, and I'm pleased they did, because I was able to show the difference between winning and losing.
Burton took a big step to Football League safety at Aldershot. Aaron Webster gave the visitors the lead, prodding home his 13th of the campaign. Although not at their best, the shots levelled through Damien Spencer, who was too strong for Darren Moore, and then had plenty of time and space to wander into the area and finish. The Brewers were not to be denied, and when former Spurs midfielder Jacques Maghomer displayed great vision to pick out Calvin Zola, the former crewman finished clinically. And it could have been a bigger win for Burton. In the second half, Maghomer was dumped unceremoniously on his backside. There was no hesitation from referee Graham Salisbury, who pointed to the spot. But the usually reliable Greg Pearson couldn't beat Jamie Young, who made a good save. Burton now up to 17th.
These clubs have been casting nervous glances down the table as they've struggled to pull away from the scrap for survival. One goal settled it, set up by Matt Hamshaw's centre and put away by Tyrone Barnett. And that was enough to lift Macclesfield to the comfort of 50 points. In contrast, Mark Yates admits Cheltenham are in a relegation battle. Josh Lowe was unable to finish, and the Robins are without a win in 6.
Morecambe took the lead on 58 minutes against a Crewe side still mathematically chasing playoff dreams. But when Phil Jevons pulled back for Gary Hunter to put away his first goal of the season, those hopes looked slim, to say the least. But that was to overlook the man of the month. Clayton Donaldson has been on fire throughout April, and when Joel Grant's shot was too hot for Morecambe keeper Barry Roach to handle, you-know-who was first to the rebound. And that's how it stayed until 3 minutes into stoppage time. The Shrimps failed to clear their lines, and they also failed to pick up Donaldson, who punished them with a towering header. His 7th goal in his last 4 matches, keeping Crewe's slender hopes just about intact.
Crewe looking to end the season strongly under Dario Gradi, and for Burton, it's been a fantastic 8 days, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, they've always had that lots and lots of games in hand, and you just think might have just taken their eye off the ball in that respect. But when it's come down, when the crunch has really happened, they've concentrated their minds, and they've got a couple of good results. And as you say, it's very, very unlikely now they'll get dragged into the relegation. 7
points in just over a week, and this was only their 3rd away win of the season.
Good time to get it as well, as you say. It gives them a bit of breathing space, and you can't but feel good cup run. Possibly might have affected their league form at some stage, but as I say, when it's come to the crunch, they've got the results.
Now, Leroy, you mentioned Northampton a little earlier. Comeback to get a draw against Rotherham from 2-0 down. Great heart, great spirit. Gary Johnson, will be delighted with that. But as luck would have it, Barnet and Stockport go and register wins. When the luck's against you, it's against you.
Yeah, and he said, Gary said that they showed a lot of bravery in the second half when they went 2-0 down. They're going to have to show a lot more bravery now between now and the end of the season because they've been dragged right into it. That point was really, really important because I think that it would have maybe just put them in that bottom two. And when you can't, 17 games they've gone, eight with Ian Sampson, 9 with Gary Johnson there. They're in a losing habit. They're going to have to try and break it somehow.
Never been in it like the Barnets and the Stockports and the other teams and all of a
And believe it or not, they're taking on Stockport on Monday, and Stockport still have something to play for, which could easily have not been the case.
Exactly, and a good result in Stockport if they do win that game, as Leroy said before, will give themselves a little bit of squeak if Barnet don't get a result. So it's still very much in the melting pot.
What a great finish in store in League Two. So let's hear from League Two fans tonight. Ore, what can you tell us?
Manish, it's about this time of the season when all the big talk comes out. You spoke about bravery earlier. Here's a brave Shrewsbury fan. Tommy says, great 2-0 win away to Hereford today. We are going up. League One, here we come. They're in the automatic places, but there are still 3 games to go. Despite losing to Southend, this is a very proud Stevenage Borough fan. Matt, who's 16, writes in to say, I'd just like to thank all the supporters that got behind the boys yesterday and to the players for putting in a performance like that. It was superb, despite having 10 men for nearly the whole game. Now, you heard in commentary earlier, Crewe's 2-1 win over Morecambe gives them a slim chance of reaching the playoffs. And James says, great to see a comeback and some determination from the players yesterday. Morecambe fans were brilliant all game, so credit to them. And I think he enjoyed the Clayton Donaldson double at the Alexandra. He says, Donaldinho is a god. Offer him a new contract ASAP, as well as Joel Grant. And I'm sure all Crewe fans will remember his hat-trick against Cheltenham earlier in the month. Gillingham lost 4-2 at home to Barnet, as you saw, who themselves were in a dogfight at the bottom. The Gills only out of the playoff positions on goal difference. But Scott's got a message. Players should be ashamed of that woeful, shambolic, clueless, gutless performance today. Heads dropped after going 3-1 down, and think that Hessenthaler should have this lot in for extra training tomorrow. And last word goes for the Gills' opponents, and Max says, great performance today, punished all of Gillingham's mistakes. Who needs Martin Allen? Grazioli is going to be Barnet's saviour. Bees are staying up. I think it sounds like all the bees are clinging on to that hope that the great escape really is on. That's all from me.
Thanks very much, Ore. Well, let's take a look then at the tables and just confirm what we've been discussing tonight with Steve and Leroy. First of all, well done to Chesterfield, who finally won promotion from NPAL League 2. They can seal the title by seeing off their nearest rivals Bury on Monday. Shrewsbury are third after their 5th win in 6 games, whilst Accrington fly up to 5th and are now unbeaten in 10 games. Stockport are clinging onto their Football League life at the bottom after that fine win at Port Vale, but 2 other huge away wins for Barnet and Burton have blown the battle for survival wide open. 4 points now separate the 7 teams above County as we enter what's going to be a thrilling last fortnight of the season. A huge victory for Southampton keeps them in 2nd place in NPAL League 1 as champions Brighton lose the last unbeaten home record in the league. Huddersfield are level on points with the Saints after extending their unbeaten run to 22. But they've got an inferior goal difference, don't forget, and they've also played a game more. Exeter's 5th win on the bounce has brought them into contention for the final playoff position. Plymouth are off the bottom after winning at Dagenham to keep their hopes alive of defying the odds. They're replaced by Swindon, who can be relegated now on Bank Holiday Monday. Fighting draws for Walsall and Bristol Rovers, not enough to lift them out of the relegation zone. And Martin Allen is at it again. He stopped the rot at Notts County and have won the last 2 games to move them 4 points away from danger. It's closer, but not quite for QPR. 1 more win will be enough to secure Premier League football next season, and they'll try again against Hull on Monday. Norwich will also win promotion with victories in their final 3 games. Nottingham Forest, well, they're back in the playoff places after their 2nd win in 12. As a result, Leeds drop out of the top 6 for the first time this year. And Sheffield United, well, they can still dream of a great escape after beating Bristol City. However, they could still find themselves in the 3rd tier of English football if they lose at informed Reading next time out. And the draw between Doncaster and Palace keeps Scunthorpe 3 points from safety, while Preston's revival was brought to a shuddering halt, of course, at Millwall. Right, before we go, the usual reminder, you can watch the show back again via a couple of ways. It's on the red button till midday Sunday, but on Freeview till 10 o'clock in the morning. It's also, of course, on the BBC iPlayer all week. For extended match highlights of every Football League game, simply log on to the BBC Sport website. And there's more football on Sunday with Match of the Day 2 at 10:35 on 2. And we're back on Monday to reflect on another pivotal day in the Empire Football League at 11:15 on BBC One, where our focus falls on QPR's game with Hull City. Well, that's your lot. Thanks to Ore, Leroy and Steve. We'll see you in a couple of days' time, but from all of us for now, good night.